Are you a service-based business owner looking to increase profits to fund your lifestyle? Well, this podcast is for you. We bring you inspirational guests sharing actionable tips to solve many of the struggles you face each and every day. And now, over to your host, Paul Higgins.
Welcome to the Build, Live, Give podcast. If you're a first-time listener and you love what you hear, please subscribe. If you're a regular, thanks for your support. At any time, you can ask me or the guest questions through paulhigginsmentoring.com/questions. You can take notes by all means, and there's plenty to take in this episode, but it will be fully transcribed for you, and it's available in the show notes. So the person today was doing some research as part of his university studies, and they had to interview lots of people using LinkedIn. And they were manually, swapping data around, and a friend came up and said, "Why are you doing that?" And they said, "Well, what do you mean? That's the only way. There's no open API. Like, we all wanted that." And he said, "Well, I've found a way." And sure enough, he did, saved them huge amounts of time. And then they switched from the project they were doing into this. And now they've got over 300 customers and are scaling around the world. And I'm one of their customers. I absolutely love it. So why listen? One is it's going to save you a huge amount of time on LinkedIn. Everyone wants that. Two is allows team visibility, because on LinkedIn at the moment, the team can't see everything that's happening. With this product, you can. And the third thing is why LinkedIn bans certain products or animations or automations, I should say, or accounts, and how to avoid this. You also, the guest is given a 14-day trial at the end of the podcast as well. So stay tuned for that one. So I'll hand you over now to David Chevalier from LeadChat.io. And believe me, he says his name a lot better than me in his French accent. Welcome, David Chevalier, to the Build, Live, Give podcast. Great to have you on here today, David.
Yes. Hi. Nice to meet you all, and great to be here. Thanks a lot, Paul.
So all your friends and family that are listening to this, can you just pronounce your name so that they also know who I'm talking to?
Yes, exactly. So it's David Chevalier. I know it's French, so it's a bit hard to pronounce. I'm actually German. I have a French name, but I started now a company in France together with my French friend and co-founder, Omar. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, most people don't understand what I'm saying at any point because of my Australian accent, so it won't really matter. It's nice to have a lovely sounding accent on the podcast versus mine. Now, I fell in love with your product. It must be around 6 months ago now, and I've been dying to have you on the podcast. But when people say, "Hey, David, what do you do to help salespeople around the world?" how do you best describe that?
Yeah. So first, when we say it very broad, it's that we help people their day-to-day sales activities, especially when it comes to administrative tasks, meaning that they need to clean their CRM, they need to fill their CRM with leads. We kind of automate it, thanks that we have an integration to LinkedIn. So we have a two-way sync between LinkedIn and your CRM. And to save you time, not to copy and paste between platforms, not to do the tab switching all the time, getting you more time to do actually selling. That's what we do.
Yeah, and as they always say, it's great for someone to tell their story, but it's even better if someone tells it for you. So for everyone listening and watching right now, I'll just give you my quick scenario. So we do a lot of work on LinkedIn since 2019. I really doubled down on it for those that listen often after my transplant, and I realized that my team were wasting so much time. So we had an agency that helped agencies around the world implement sales CRMs and, like Copper, Pipedrive, HubSpot, all of them. And everyone used to ask me, "Hey, is there a tool or a way that this can integrate? Surely it can." And they'd sort of get angry. And I'm like, LinkedIn's got a closed API. There's nothing we can really do about it. I don't know anything. So that was the situation I was in. It was, look, it's not a life-threatening situation like a transplant, but it was very, very annoying. Cut and paste, and the team would forget, and you'd always be, and it's the time searching for information. You had 5 minutes to get ready for a meeting, and it's like, you're not at your best because you're trying to find all this information rather than actually properly preparing. So that was sort of the situation I had. How similar is that to the ones that you've heard about, David?
Yes, pretty similar. I can also maybe give you a quick introduction to my situation and why we actually
go for it.
Started this, because we had exactly the same problem. So we are not coming from sales. We are not coming. Also, I was active on LinkedIn before, yes, but more like looking out for new job opportunities. I was working in a bank for quite like 5 years and used LinkedIn on the side on a daily basis just to inform, looking through the feed like everyone does. But I was never kind of in this sales aspect on LinkedIn and social selling, which is now becoming more and more kind of important. Also, we have more and more people working remotely. So we have more sales happen actually virtual. So therefore, LinkedIn is a great open database. We have 750 million users on LinkedIn. So on no other platform, we can have more information about people's CVs, professional life than on LinkedIn. And it's not banned in China, for instance, which is also a great benefit. So to get back to the story, Omar and I, we last year were still in our study program in Berkeley, US, and we needed to do customer discovery. So customer discovery in the Bay Area, meaning we needed to reach out to people, ask for kind of a coffee chat for a specific project we did back then. And it was working great. First of all, we reached out to people and we got replies. So we were like, okay, people who never saw us, we never spoke before, unknown people, they wanted to meet with us. So that's great. First, I think it's also the Bay Area, which is a very great environment.
Yes.
Yes, so we started to reach out to customer discovery. And for our program, we needed to show after 4 weeks, okay, we talked with so many people, we meet with these people, and these were the results. We needed to capture this. So we used a CRM. And as we are coming from Europe, CRM, we know kind of the CRMs, but the CRMs come from US. So way more people use the CRM system in the US, way longer. So we used HubSpot because HubSpot was for free. It's a great CRM. And like the business people like me and our also we started with 3 co-founders at the beginning. The 2 of us, we did it manually, like the copy and pasting all the time. And it was a pain in the,
yes,
what I want to say. Exactly. And so that was really a problem. But our third friend and mate, Omar, who's kind of the technical guy in our team and our co-founder, he started to develop something on his own, on the side. And he was like coming to us saying, hey guys, why do you do it manually? And why do you copy and paste? It's makes no sense. And he just did for himself kind of a very easy and basic kind of automated funnel where he got all his interactions, his messages, automatically saved in HubSpot. We then started to do that customer discovery based on that topic, not on our old project. And that's how we got into LeadChat. And that's how we started. From there, last year in March, May, when the COVID crisis came up. And that's the backstory.
Yeah, well, look, and I can't tell you how many people that nearly any person I speak to is in sales that's using LinkedIn, because that's predominantly what my customers and clients do. They're all just blown away. Now, you don't have to give I worked for Coca-Cola for 18 years, and I think at one stage we had 126 different sales CRMs. So when you say American, the core of American sales is the Coke company, right? So I feel like it's a religion for me using a sales CRM. But, we obviously got a secret formula and we didn't give it out. But, I don't want you to bear all your secrets here on the show. A few would be great. But, how did Omar get into this locked API that seemed like no one else could?
Yes. So first of all, it's very tricky to understand the LinkedIn system. We have also 2 LinkedIn systems. We have the standard LinkedIn and we have LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is purely for the salespeople. We have also, of course, Recruiter on LinkedIn and kind of other systems on the side. They look also different. So it seems like they're from another era. And it seems like they are more updating, at least what you get on the front face, there's standard LinkedIn, then there's Sales Navigator. It looks like a bit older Sales Nav. So first of all, there was a bit tricky to integrate to both because we wanted to integrate to both. Standard LinkedIn is great, but salespeople are obviously on Sales Navigator. And we thought Sales Navigator is great, but it's we thought about, okay, we can make it maybe with a easier UX for salespeople. We can make it maybe a bit more adaptable to sales. So let's say it like this. And so we started. It took us 4 months basically to get the first basic version out. It was just about a Chrome extension, a Google Chrome extension, showing here and there some buttons, like purple buttons. So when you download the Chrome extension, you will find these purple buttons around. And the first basic version was just about that you can add with one click from a profile page a person to your CRM.
Yes.
And this fully enriched. So with all the contact information, with the email address, and even the company we create at the same time. So it's basically 10 to 12 steps you normally need to do manually. You just saved. And from there on, of course, we needed to be always adaptable, our system, because we are an interface on top of LinkedIn. So, of course, when the LinkedIn interface changes, we need to change quickly as well.
And how often does it change, David?
It's not often that there are major changes. Recently they had a new kind of design, but it's a rollout for certain countries, and they don't roll out for everyone at the same time. But this new design, also caused in the beginning a problem for us, because then the button was not displayed at the right place. One functionality was not working. So this was, especially at the beginning, something we need to go through. But and we always need to pass our extension for review for the Google Chrome store. So Google Chrome needs to review our extension, and this takes normally 2 days maximum. But in COVID crisis, it took I think 3 weeks. So at the very beginning, we had 3 weeks of lost trial. Yes, it was really a pain, because we were starting great and we had a good growth, and then 3 weeks a bug. We couldn't do anything because we needed to wait for the review, and we lost all our trial users. And as we are especially bootstrapped and have no funding, and we have also now people around, this costs us, of course, money. So we looked at it and thought, okay, when there's again a LinkedIn display change, we need to adapt quickly. So now we push when it comes to display change more from our servers, a new update. So this goes pretty quick. And every time there is a display change, maybe it's when our button is disappeared for half an hour, that's maximum, because now our development team is pretty straight after it. That was the first kind of challenge we had. We mastered it, and now it works. And since then, our product is pretty stable. We have a churn of less than 5%. So that's also great.
Yeah. Well, look, as I said, from my perspective, it was fantastic. Thanks to Scott Galletley, who's my old business partner, that introduced us. And, it was just automatic that, you can look at a profile in either, as you said, Sales Navigator, LinkedIn, bring it straight in to, as I said, we use Copper, so it's in there. But the thing that I really loved was that messaging. We do lots of outbound messaging. We've got a very specific way that gets amazing results for clients. But if you're following up on someone, you had to have LinkedIn open, and you had to, double screen, but it was always, and then because, something like HubSpot, Pipedrive, Copper, they allow you to have different types of communication, right? So when you have LinkedIn as a specific message, but all manual. So that's cut down, which means that my team can now better qualify people. So they've got, that just works beautifully. But what are some of the case studies or some of the things that you've seen people use, in particular salespeople use LeadChat with LinkedIn, that we may not be aware of?
Yes. So first of all, we knew that we somehow saved time with our tool, but we didn't know how much actually, or how much difference it is. So that's why we did recently a lot of case studies with our clients to see how they actually use the product. And we have different features. You can click from a profile and add a new lead to your CRM. You can synchronize your messages you have. You can have CRM information displayed in LinkedIn profiles. So this is for you, but also for your colleagues when you use LeadChat, because LinkedIn is a individual license use. So you have your account, I have my account, that's it. But you can't use it as a team really. But yes, thanks to LeadChat, you have now on the profile page a little snapshot from your CRM displayed. So you have the most important information from your CRM in a LinkedIn profile page. This gives you a great benefit because you live daily on LinkedIn. You do sales nowadays on LinkedIn. And when you browse through different profiles, you now directly see not only from the profile page, also in list views, we highlight some names. When there's a purple highlight, this guy is already in my CRM. So this helps you in browsing on LinkedIn, looking for new leads on LinkedIn. And when you're done on the profile page, you see more information from your CRM. Is this actual a customer? Is this a lead? Who's in charge with the lead? Okay, here it's Laura from my team. What did they speak about so far? Okay, here's the history. So you know what's going on. Before, the problem was you used LinkedIn already for social selling, but you didn't have any, or at least your head of sales, they didn't have any chance to look what their BDRs or SDRs do, actually, because they couldn't track as it's everyone has its individual account. But now, thanks to LeadChat, you can track all the interaction in your CRM, and that's way better for your reporting. You see now the successes you have on LinkedIn versus the successes you have via email for outreach, for instance.
And look, I know we've mentioned some sales CRMs, but if you go to leadjet.io, will that tell you which ones it's currently integrated with?
Yes. So we are currently restructuring our webpage because it was not clear on the first view what CRMs we support. That's why we get in our chat often people saying, "Hey, what CRMs do you actually support?" And we said, "Hey, it's actually written on the webpage," but it was not very clear.
Yes.
So we support at the moment 4 CRMs. It is Salesforce, the biggest name. It is HubSpot, which is coming more from the marketing direction, but now going way more in the CRM space. And Pipedrive, we love really Pipedrive. It's a very customizable CRM. You can use it for various industries. And Copper, which is the modern approach of a CRM, which is kind of integrated to your G Suite. So when you have a kind of new prospects on email, it recognizes it and it automatically creates a new lead. Like we do, we have the same vision that you can easily add a new lead from LinkedIn. They do it with G Suite. And that's why we also love Copper. They've been a great partner from the start. They're the first ones who reached out to us, actually, I think after 3 months of product release. And
that's then, probably because I was constantly pestering them, head of product, etc., to say, you need to solve this. Like, be the first to solve this, and you'll have a massive competitive advantage. So maybe I had a little hand in doing that when we used to resell Copper. But look, I agree. Like Copper, if you're a Gmail client, I know Pipedrive is very good as well. But what I love is now you've got all your LinkedIn information, you've got all your calendar, you've got everything all integrated in the one place. So for me, who's been 27 years of sales, to have that all in one place just makes a massive difference. So look, I could talk to you about LeadChat all day. I'm very passionate about it. But just a little bit, if we step back a little bit, just on LinkedIn itself, are you seeing any patterns in the way people are outreaching, or any changes in the platform from a sales perspective that could be interesting for everyone listening?
So first of all, I think I didn't mention it before. What is super important when you really do sales on LinkedIn, that you need to behave. I say that because There are also a lot of automation tools, which can be great, of course, for connection requests on scale or for first message. But you really need to be careful by using these automation tools, because automation means robotic behavior on LinkedIn. So what they do is they overuse LinkedIn's API, what LinkedIn not likes all the time, of course. The algorithm also depends how you actually do automations, if it's cloud or not. It detects also automation systems. So it bans automation system, but it can also ban you as a user. So you put yourself as a risk, you put your company at a risk. And when you do these automations on LinkedIn, as it's not liked by LinkedIn. So here you need to be careful. That's why we don't want to go into this space. We also think the personal message, you can't really automate this, because where will we go then? Robots speaking with robots, basically. So this makes not sense. And in some industries, it makes definitely sense. And for some tasks, and we think that it makes sense to have automations for administrative tasks, because these tasks you need to log data, you need to manual entry data. Here it's good to kind of have a AI, or however you will call it, and virtual assistant on the side who takes care of this and saves you time. To have more time actually then for the personal connection, the personal outreach, and the messaging especially. So that's why I would really kind of suggest when you do prospecting on LinkedIn, do it in a healthy way. And
just quickly on that, where look, that's relationship based selling, which is like the old ways has sort of come back. It's funny that we went from relationship. The Coke company is all about consultative selling, and it sort of went then a little bit too far, like you said. Now I think it's coming back, and I think COVID's definitely drawn that more to bear. But look, there is now at the moment there's a new little message that's popping up. So we're recording this in April, this is coming out in May. I think it's May the 18th. It comes out in 21, but now there's a little limit. So it doesn't, for us, it doesn't matter how many messages you send. There's a little limit that pops up and says, do you really know this person? Do you really want to send it? So I think that's the first step in this happening. And I totally agree with what you said. So I think that's a rich insight. Be personal, watch your behavior is really great. But look, I could talk forever, but we need to start getting into the other section. So I'll make sure that I cover everything here. But just before we do, I'd like to see if you've got the right sales system to get a multiple stream of leads. So, I work with a lot of clients, and they rely on referrals, which is great. But, how do you get multiple streams outside that? So if you go to paulhigginsmentoring.com/pulse, you'll go there. There's 3 questions. Answer those questions and you will get sorry, did I say 3? Sorry. There's 9 that you can answer in 3 minutes, and then you can go back. Now, I know you're nodding, David, but this is for everyone out there listening to this. Yeah. It's my attempt of an ad that doesn't seem seamless, but sorry, it's meant to be seamless, but it is.
Yeah. I didn't do it so far. So I will definitely answer these 9 questions.
Yeah. And the great thing is you get a call from me at the end based on your questions. So I really show it. So the next section, we're going to go into the live section. So what are some daily habits sitting there in Paris that make you highly successful?
A daily habit for me, as I am pretty chaotic, to be honest, I have not always a very clear structured day. I sit down at the beginning, early in the morning of the day, and write down, okay, I need to do this, this, and this, definitely. And I like the things which go fast, more in the morning, and which are a bit more complicated, or after like before lunch or after lunch, because then I can do all the emails, etc., in the morning, and then go to the other stuff more in the afternoon. So this is a daily habit. I really don't
that's
have
great.
a daily
That's
habit.
great. And look, I know if anyone's listening,
I'm more flying around through the day, and that's it is.
Yeah, well, look,
I mean,
you're in a startup,
of
right?
course.
So
yes, so you need to be everywhere. You need to do everything. Like you have your head everywhere all the time. Of course, we have all the systems, and we structure ourselves with Notion. Notion is our system plus Slack. We use these two systems. Notion, everything is noted down when it comes to a marketing roadmap, product roadmap. We use kind of different techniques, Moscow technique, to really prioritize what features we develop next. We have everything broken down in small tasks, then in sprints, and then in milestones. And a sprint is always 2 weeks long. And then we have a product manager who helps us 2 days a week, who really get the connection between marketing and product. And this works, or product and development. And this works so far great. And that's where I daily kind of note down stuff.
Brilliant. Well, look, the next section's the give section. And what's a charity or a community that you're passionate about, and why?
Yes. So I support Plan International. Why? Because actually, I got introduced to them when I was waiting for my train. I'm often waiting for trains because I'm often on the go. Yeah. And there I have time. This woman was very nice, and she showed me everything about the organization. And so it's about having equal rights for children. And it was for me kind of a natural thing to go for. And I do just a small support on a monthly basis, on a subscription basis. Our tool is also on a subscription basis, so I'm used to that. I know how to do that at least.
Model.
And exactly, and that's where I support. Next to that, it's also some local support from my hometown. I'm coming from a small village, basically. So I like to give there as well and support just when it comes to football, because I am a former football player, and I was in the second league when I was very young, and I was so passionate about it. But unfortunately, we couldn't, as a small village, we couldn't afford to go to the next league. We had the success as a team to be ready for the next league, as we won kind of first in the league before, but we didn't have the financial means to go for it. And I think football is so great, and it helps for me as a young kid. Doing sports helped so much next to theater, where I also like to support, because when I was in high school and I was 15 years old, my teacher said, "Hey, you need to go into theater. You are born for it." And I was like, "No, I'm playing football and tennis. I'm not a theater guy. I can't be on stage and I don't know, play Romeo and Juliet or whatever." So he said, no, you need to do it. And then I went for it, and actually I loved it. And I played for 4 to 5 years theater, just on a local stage. But it gave me so much now to speak in front of people, also to get myself into other roles, like to understand also a development team. That's also into getting into another role. And that's where I support children, equal rights, and more support local.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, look, I'll ask you the last question, which is the big question. I always leave it to the end. But what impact do you want to leave on the world?
Yeah, that's always the big question. I started before LeadChat actually with another project. It's a sustainable project. It was about making returns sustainable in e-commerce. Yes. Because what we see is that you have, especially in Germany, as we have big players like Zalando, who give away 100 days of free returns, and everyone is buying on per invoice, so they don't need to pay up front. So it's easy to just order like 6 different colors of one T-shirt and then return basically 5 of them. Which is not good for our world. And that's why I was engaged in a project to make sustainable packages, parcels. And my big vision was there to see, first of all, a kind of ecological aspect, and to see that we can together, as we consume a lot, but we should really consume sustainable. And this was my big thing. I want to do something here as well. And there was kind of a long-lasting impact would have been like to see sustainable parcels everywhere, because I shop everywhere and I order a lot everywhere, every day. So seeing this, this was kind of my big thing. Then I switched now to LeadChat, which is great, of course. We want to have not an ecological aspect in the first place here, but we want to have a time aspect. And yes, when I'm just saving time for each salesperson every day, then I'm more than happy, because then we really can concentrate, and that is where relationship, or what the relationship is about, and sales is about human. It's about personal connections always. So we should never forget about it, and we should never go into robotic behavior. I think this is important, and when we can do a little thing here by saving time and getting more back to these real connections, then I'm already happy. So yes, I don't have a straight answer to you. Maybe
no, that's fine. Well, look, as a client, I'm incredibly happy, and the fact that I'm a client, I'm also an affiliate partner. So, this is not a sponsored spot at all, but you can go to buildlivegive.com/LeadChat, and you can get a 14-day trial. You can also go to the main site as well, which is LeadChat.io. There's some great stats that I was reading up on your blog around LinkedIn as well. So if you want to get those, go and have a look at the blog. There's, I think it's called LinkedIn-stats, but just go to the blog, you'll get that. But thanks a lot for coming on. Thanks for saving lots of salespeople's time around the world, and can't wait to see your future innovations coming out around saving time, but also getting salespeople to deliver better results for everyone around the world. So thanks a lot for coming on today, David.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot for being here. Really appreciate it. And if your community has any questions regarding our product, or also getting back to me, feel free. You have my email. It's david.chevalier@leadchat.io. And you always can also reach out on our website. Anyone from the team is almost 24/7 there, because we also have US support. And it's somehow, as European company, at the beginning, a bit tricky. Because you need to be awake still late. And many greetings to Australia, and thanks a lot for being here, Paul.
All right, brilliant. Thanks, David. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
I really love that interview with David. I know it went a bit longer. It was his first podcast, but it was absolutely fantastic. I hope you got a lot of value out of it. This product is brilliant, right? LeadChat.io. I love it. You probably could see the passion and enthusiasm. I hope you just go out and trial it. Remember, you can go to buildlivegive.com/LeadChat, and you can get a trial there of the product. If you want to find out more, you can just go to LeadChat.io. But these are young guys, bootstrapped, but they're really saving salespeople a lot of time around the world, which could be you. So if you want to get a check, also a little pulse check on whether you have a sales system to get you multiple streams of high-paying clients, just go to paulhigginsmentoring.com/pulse. Please take action to build, live, and give.
Thanks for listening to the Build, Live, Give podcast. If you like what you heard, please share it and leave us a review. It would mean the world to us.